Mark Rogers TV's college football predictions week 8. Are they late? I know they're late. Everybody kicks off at noon in just about 5 minutes. I think you see all the previews and analysis that we've given you over the past couple days. We have gone crazy previewing games for the weekend, so please check out the videos prior to your favorite game or whatever games you select, because we have produced a ton of content in the last 3 or 4 days getting you set for week 8 of college football. So most of these games we have previewed in a number of ways from a number of angles with some of the best bloggers and broadcasters in college football contributing. So I have been red hot, if you've noticed, over the last 3 weeks, 42-21 against the spread. I will admit, I sat down 3 minutes ago and I went through the games and I made my selections. So if you're looking for the guy that's going to spend 40 or 50 hours a week crunching numbers, making selections, then I'm not the guy. Unfortunately, I would love to be able to have the time to do that, because this stuff is very fascinating and interesting to me, breaking down and handicapping the games. I love it. But as you can see on the YouTube channel and the regular job, there are other things going on. So these are gut predictions. I usually spend a little bit of time making score comparisons and thinking through the analysis for 5 or 10 minutes, not for hours. This was in 12 seconds. But here goes. I'm going to ride this 85-55 against the spread. If you followed me for years, you know that I'm in the high 50% range, 57, 58% against the spread. The confidence picks are more close to 70%. I was this close, that close to going 4-0 confidence picks against the spread, but Michigan State blew a 17-point lead to Minnesota in the final 5 minutes. Otherwise, 4-0 confidence picks, 3-1. I went 3-1 last week. That one hurt, folks. Got to admit that. All right, let's run them down. Again, 85-55. I don't know that you're going to find too many, if anyone out there. Please, I would love to see it in the comments. Some other people that predict and that have a tremendous success rate. I'm 111-32 straight up. That's not as good as I've done in the past. 85-55 against the spread. Would love to hear some people that are selecting the games better than that. If you're stumbling upon Mark Rogers TV for the first time, or you have yet to subscribe, please subscribe. As you can see, we cover college football like no one else. Michigan State, Indiana. All right. Do we have a line on this game? I guess Michigan State is a 6-point favorite. They're at home. Michigan State covers at home against Indiana, -6. Of course, we saw what the Hoosiers did against Michigan last week. All right, I love this confidence pick, and I know it might be a trap game. Miami hosting Syracuse opened at 13. It's now to 17.5, and I know Miami has superior talent. I know that Syracuse win over Clemson was a huge aberration, but Syracuse has played within 1 score on the road against NC State and against LSU. They have played very well in recent weeks. Miami, very good team, one of the 15 or 20 best teams in the country, not one of the 5 best. Miami wins the game fairly comfortably, but Syracuse plus 17.5 confidence pick. All right, Wisconsin covers 24. That's a big number. But Wisconsin at home against Maryland covers 24 points. Virginia Tech covers 20 against North Carolina. Many of these lines, unfortunately, as I looked at the progression throughout the week, moved against me. Some of the early lines early in the week, wow, were ready to be jumped on. Virginia, BC, I don't want to make too much of BC's performance at Louisville last week, but 45-42, Virginia doesn't score enough to be a heavy favorite against BC. I know it's at Virginia, but close game here. Cavaliers win, but take BC plus the 7. TCU, Kansas, just too many points here for me to know what TCU is going to be doing with a 5-touchdown lead in the 4th quarter. So take TCU, of course. Kansas plus the 39. Yes, TCU could win this game 52-3. No question. Stay away. That's the bottom line message there. Central Florida Navy. Central Florida is red hot, but I like the midshipmen. If you follow me, I love the group of 5, love the games on Thursday and Friday nights, but don't get to it as much as I would like. So I'm going to not call myself an expert on the group of 5 games. Central Florida wins. Take Navy plus the 8.5 points. As we get toward the end of the season, you see more upsets popping up. Mississippi State, Kentucky. Don't understand the Bulldogs being a 12.5-point favorite. Therefore, I take the Wildcats, and we will find out if they are truly a 5-1 football team. Mississippi State wins at home. Kentucky plus 12.5 points, and I thought about making that a confidence pick. South Florida runs away from Tulane. They cover 11. Bama, Tennessee. This is another one of those stay away lines, but Bama is going to crush Tennessee. We had a ton of analysis on this game, and I was trying to make a case for Tennessee keeping it close or pulling off one of those games that they have a couple times in the last 10 years against Alabama in which they made it a game. They are so dysfunctional at this point. Take Bama minus 36.5. Oklahoma State, Texas. I wrestled with this one. I love the Cowboys to win the game. Texas has played really well this season. Tom Herman is a first-rate coach. I think this is a backdoor cover. Oklahoma State minus 7 over Texas. I think this is a really good game. This is my first game of choice at noon. West Virginia, Baylor. Maybe I'm missing something here. Check out the preview with Josh Parcell that we did with West Virginia, Baylor. I love the Mountaineers covering 9.5 points. I know it's on the road. I know West Virginia traditionally is a much, much different and better football team at home, but this season they played within a touchdown at TCU. West Virginia solid. They've got a bad defense. Yes, Baylor played OU tough. That was an aberration. West Virginia minus 9.5 on the road against Baylor. Confidence pick. Auburn. I'm wrestling with a confidence pick here. Arkansas is awful. Auburn gets off the deck following the disappointing loss against LSU. Tigers win it against Arkansas. And we're going to keep it right there, minus 15.5 points. All right, Florida State covers 6 against Louisville. Should be a pretty good game, but much more expected out of these two teams, of course. Florida State over Louisville, minus 6. USC, Notre Dame. People love the Irish. People are jumping on the bandwagon, and you have heard me compliment them all week about what they've accomplished this season. 1-point loss against Georgia. They've taken care of business otherwise in impressive fashion. USC talent wins out. I know that they're banged up. I know that they lost on the road against Washington State, that they've been unimpressive, that they turn the ball over, that Notre Dame's getting turnovers. I think some of that is overplayed over 6 games, especially from the Notre Dame side. USC needs to clean it up. Notre Dame's getting some gifts in the turnover game. USC pulls off a slight upset at Notre Dame. So take the 4 points. USC plus 4 against Notre Dame. OU, Kansas State. This one tough to deal with, but Kansas State having all sorts of issues scoring. And, yeah, they are just not one of the best teams in the Big 12. I am wrestling with this one. Let me get back to that one. Okay, LSU covers 7 at Ole Miss. I know that this could be a trap game. LSU coming off the big win, the big 2 wins, Florida, and, of course, on the road against or at home against Auburn. Ole Miss looks awful. They did totally annihilate Vanderbilt with 57 points last week, but LSU, a better football team, more sound. Take the defense here. Bottom line, I know it's at Ole Miss, night game, minus 7. LSU will take care of business. LSU minus 7 over Ole Miss. Okay, we've got the Washington State-Colorado game. Surprised that it's only 10 at home for Washington State. They take care of business. Yes, they were awful 1 week. Are they the top 5 team in the country when they beat USC? Are they as bad as they were last week? They're in the middle. Top 25 team at Washington State. They covered 10 at home against Colorado. Okay, Georgia Tech. We finished with 2 confidence picks here. Georgia Tech at home at night against Wake Forest. It's going to be a good game, but Georgia Tech, they took Miami within 1 point. They're at home. It's a night game. Georgia Tech, the triple option. Wake Forest is extremely good on defense. Trouble scoring here, and Georgia Tech's pretty good defensively. Georgia Tech will cover 3.5 points. Confidence pick against Wake. And then finally, the big one in Happy Valley, Penn State, Michigan. We'll give you analysis after the game. Penn State, Michigan, USC, Notre Dame. I love Michigan plus the 9 points. It was up to 13. I would have loved that line early in the week. Take Michigan plus the 9 points. Confidence pick. Penn State wins the game. Their playmakers break through on 4 or 5 big plays against Michigan's great defense, and that's the difference in the game. Michigan can't make the plays on offense to win it. They grind it out. Penn State gets 5 plays roughly that break through and win this game at home. But Michigan +9 and Oklahoma, Kansas State. I'm going to go with the Sooners on the late cover. I know that they just played a difficult game against Texas, and Kansas State's at home at night, but I'm going to go with the OU talent breaking through. Kansas State extremely limited in the passing game. OU -14 over Kansas State. There are my picks for week 8. Would love to hear what you have to say. Enjoy the football today.